Hey guys, welcome back to another Mythic Legions review. Today we're taking a look at the Shadow Orc Grunt Legion Builder from 4 Horsemen Studios. Originally released in the Legion Builder Reinforcements wave, and then in the in-stock sale. The artwork on the back is from the Legion Builder Reinforcement wave, showcasing art of the ogres, small pictures of the figure in the wave, and a few paragraphs in the lore of Mythic Legions. On the side we have a picture of the Shadow Orc and his name, and new to this series of Legion builders, we actually have some lore written down, giving the nameless characters some more background. Mythic Legions all come in collector-friendly packaging, easy to remove from the box without having to tear or rip anything open. 4 Horsemen Studios have a series of figures called Legion Builders. These figures feature a much lower cost, allowing you to buy multiple for customizing or army building to display your own legions. Since the price is much lower than a fully featured figure, Legion Builders usually come with much less paint detail, opting for one color for the armor and weapons. Shadow Orcs are extremely brutal creatures that even other orcs fear. Also known as Cavern Orcs, they live deep underground, where the most bloodthirst savage fighters are led by the Shadow Orc strategist Gorthokk. They now wait for the call to battle, waiting to emerge from the underground to fight for the legions of Arathir. Let's check on some of the details of the figure. A dark steel helmet covers most of the head and face of the Shadow Orc's dark brown skin. Large teeth stick out of the mouth, with the eye sockets of the helmet completely black, shrouding the eyes of the figure. Large plates of steel are bolted onto the helmet, with small rivets dotted all around the helmet. Taking a look at the side, we can see the corroded effect on the helmet, with a few dents, scratches, and chips in the helmet making it look well worn. 2 large black bone horns stick out of the side of the helmet, pointing upward. Layers of steel strip bolted in layers on top of each other make up the chest armor for the orc, with another layer at the waist pointing upward. A large knight-style neck guard is worn at the top, matching the same dark steel color seen on all the other pieces of armor. Similar to the front, the back has the same style of layered sections of armor, bolted on top of each other. Just like the front, we have large scratches detailing the armor, and just like all Mythic Legions, we have large sockets on the back that we will be covering up later in the review. Large muscles, veins, and the iconic dark skin of the Shadow Orcs are detailed in the biceps, using the 1.0 style of arms. Looking up under the arms, we can see that the skin fades into a brighter brown color, seen in the highlights of the figure. We have the standard orcish style bladed gauntlets seen on almost every orc character so far. Although we are using new bare hands, showing off the details like the veins and large claw-like nails on the hands. Over at the waist we have a large belt in a barbarian fur style with a large buckle at the center. This is where the limitations of the Legion builders starts to become noticeable, as the fur, leather, and metal details are all in the same color, looking a bit featureless while it all blends in together. Hanging underneath we have a leather section of armor hanging down, each with its own stud on each section of leather. On the side we have a better look at the fur and leather wrapping around the belt, with the large plate of armor and chainmail hanging down the sides, secured by a large plate at the center. A small plate of armor covers up the backside, where we can see a bit of the color shifts on the skin on the thigh. Just like the biceps, the skin on the thighs fade from a brown to a black, helping show off the muscle details in the sculpting. We have the classic 1.0 style orcish leg armor, with spike designs layered on top of each other, featuring a ton of battle damage all over the sculpt. Using the newer bare feet option, we have an orc style foot matching the dark color of the skin and detailed with veins and more claw-like nails matching the hands. Let's take a look at the articulation. The horns on the helmet are able to rotate, as well as the head being on a ball joint, allowing rotation everywhere. The shoulders open and fully rotate. Elbows that bend inward and rotate. Forearms that can rotate. And a wrist that rotates and bends side to side. 1.0 bodies don't have a chest joint, but do have a ball jointed waist. Legs that can open, but will be restricted by the armor here, but with soft plastic it will bend out of the way. We have similar forward and backwards range on the legs, and we have rotation at the thigh joint. Knees that bend back and rotate, an ankle that bends up and down and rotates, and the foot that twists. As one of the 2 Shadow Orcs ever released, the Shadow Orc Grunt is in the 1.0 style, making them compatible with each other, able to swap parts. Compared to the deluxe figures, we can see the difference in paint quality, much less detailed on the Legion builders. Mythic Legions are usually all the same size, but we also have a 2.0 style of smaller body, making them incompatible with part swapping between them. Next to Hasbro's 6-inch scale, we can see that Mythic Legions run on the larger side of the 6-inch scale. And while they are similar in height, the cartoony, bulky appearance of Mythic Legions does make them look much larger. Jada Toys runs on the smaller size of the 6-inch scale, and that's where you really start to notice a scale difference between Mythic Legions and the smaller side of the 6-inch scale. McFarlane's 7-inch scale, while being much taller, can be mixed in with Mythic Legions as they're just slightly taller, but it really goes to show just how large and bulky Mythic Legions are. We have an alternate head in the classic 1.0 orc helmet style. The classic look for the helmeted orc, we have a matching dark skin, eye sockets painted completely black, and more large teeth coming out of the mouth. Taking a look at the side, we can see the large ear sticking out of the helmet, and the mohawk style blade at the top of the helmet. Swapping out heads on Mythic Legions is incredibly easy, just needing to pop off the head and socket in the new one. A pair of shoulder armor matching the color on the armor, detailed with scratches and rivets. The shoulder armor installs by simply pegging it into the back shoulder socket. It is a tight fit, so heating up the sockets will make it much easier. We have a large buster sword, colored in bronze. An axe with a wooden handle in the same bronze. A bronze mace, with the top being able to be swapped out if you have additional parts. And a 1.0 style belt made to fit the larger bodies with a strap to hold onto swords. Legion builders are a great way to get introduced into Mythic Legions. With the lower cost of these figures, you'll be able to grab a few and swap out the parts to get you started on customizing, or just have some really nice detailed figures to be added into your collection. The Shadow Orcs haven't been seen in a very long time, with the last and only Shadow Orc being released back in 2016, so it's great to see the race being fleshed out, even if with just a Legion builder. We also have a couple of new parts being used, mixed in with the classic bladed orc style gauntlets and leg armor. The bare hands, feet, and new head sculpt gives a fresh look to the orcs of Mythic Legions. With an alternate head, 3 weapons, and shoulder armor, for the price of a Legion builder, we have a fully equipped loadout ready to swap and customize. While the lack of paint is noticeable on parts like the belt that have multiple types of material, the areas like the skin and reflective paint on both the armor and weapons really do give this figure a quality look to it, even if only needing a small amount of touch-ups. And while not really part of the accessories of the figure, I do appreciate the extra lore on the Legion builders, as personally I do pick them up to flesh out a Legion rather than to customize. Legion builders are simply some of the best value you can get out of an action figure these days. At the price I paid on the official store of $26, it honestly really does put to shame some of what the bigger companies have to offer. Sure, the Legion builders have much less paint details, but what little they do use is used for the most effect, and I honestly don't see much more paint being used on other companies' figures costing twice as much. The Shadow Orc Legion builder is definitely a great figure to pick up, as a generic bad guy for your other figures to fight, those who are into collecting orcs, or simply just want a cool figure that's not too expensive to customize. You should definitely keep your eyes out for the in-stock sale. You'll get the best price and some really great figures. Alright guys, that's it for this review. Leave a comment letting me know how you like this figure, subscribe, or share this video with your friends to help out the channel.